right as everything was coming back to life, I had heart surgery, which was in May. I had open heart surgery. So
did you
Are
really?
you kidding me? Whoa.
yeah, so I kind of missed out on that 3-month that sort of period where everybody was out having fun. So yeah, I had an aortic aneurysm.
Oh my God. Wait. Okay. So how did I need to know all of this? I'm a huge hypochondriac. So prepare me. How did
You may have one right now.
No, she has no heart. So
How did you gotta have a heart to have?
They
a
say
heart
that
problem.
if you have brown hair and glasses, you're at a higher risk. I don't know.
No, how did you discover it? What happened? What were the symptoms? Wow.
Well, it was funny. Right around when the pandemic began in, March, when I say began, when things started really shutting down for good, around March 2020, I started having this sort of sporadic feeling in my upper chest. And at first I thought it was COVID because at that point people didn't really know what COVID was or what it felt like. And so I started to get paranoid, but, I had tested negative and et cetera and so forth. And then but it wasn't like enough to really affect my life at all. It was just every once in a while, I thought it was heartburn. And just over about this next 6 months, through the beginning, like right around the insurrection, honestly, is when I was like, all right, I have to get this checked out. Anytime I would get like overly stressed, or my heart rate would get going, not really when I was exercising, but just when I was tense, I would notice it. And so right around, it's funny, on January 7th, the day after the insurrection, when everybody was kind of really on pins and needles about what was going on, that's when I was like, all right, this feels like a medical intervention type deal. And also I have massive degrees of heart problems in my family. Like multiple family members have passed away from heart-related stuff. And so I kind of knew that I had to take it seriously. And, it only took me a few months to go get that checked out.
6 months. You had chest pains
a few months. I think well, at the time it was like, you didn't really want to go to the hospital, because my Mount Sinai is where I get, that's in my network and all that. And it's like, do I really want to deal with, going to the hospital right now when everything is so nuts?
Sure.
And so finally around like March, I think I went and got it checked out. Or, that's when I finally had my EKG and my CAT scan. And it was around mid-March when they're like, all right, this is something.
Wow.
Like, I wasn't like rushed to the hospital. It was like something they let me schedule. But the dude basically told me, you have to have the surgery. There's nothing to be gained by waiting. So we might as well just go for it.
So what did they do?
Basically, what it means is the aorta, which is the main tube coming out of the top of your heart. It gets bigger. It starts getting bigger, and if it ruptures, you're dead. A little bit, but just the tube. The heart, my heart. I was told I have the heart of an 18-year-old.
Oh, okay.
Which means my heart writes terrible poetry, and no.
And has a crush on the math teacher. Yeah.
Exactly. And don't look under my heart's bed because it's some socks under there you don't want to see. But they. Like Jonathan Larson, the guy who wrote Rent, he died because he had an aortic aneurysm and it was uncaught and it ruptured. And so it's not, it gets bigger and bigger over time. And so they have like some time to know, like, all right, if it gets to this many centimeters, then we've got to like do this right now. And I wasn't quite there yet, but it was going to get there. But what they do is they saw into your chest, and they split you open and they cut a part of your, mine was right at the stem, like right where it meets the heart.
Yeah.
And heart valves, most people have what they call a tricuspid valve, which basically looks like a Mercedes symbol, where it's like three flaps that open and close. I have what they call a bicuspid valve, which is just two flaps, and apparently that makes you more susceptible to this particular genetic defect.
And did you not know you had that until they cut you open?
I did not know that. He didn't even know, even after my CAT scan and all that, they didn't know for sure that's what it was. Sometimes people have Marfan syndrome, which is gigantism. That's another thing that, but I am not like weirdly tall and thin, so I knew that really wasn't a thing. So then they replaced it with, I don't know, like a hollow out USB cord or something. And now then they sew you back up, and mostly a lot of the recovery is just your breastbone healing.
Right. And how much pain were you in after? Was it like really, was it like a nose job? Like how bad was the pain?
No, it's brutal.
It's bad.
It's brutal. I was in the hospital for about a week, and And then, for a few, I was able to walk pretty quickly, but I wasn't able to pick anything up. I was supposed to not pick anything up heavier than 5 pounds. Like I couldn't walk the dogs and then it just gets better over time. I was sleeping out in the recliner for a few weeks because you can't move onto your stomach or anything like that. And, but eventually it's like firmly in the annoying stage. Like it's an annoyance. It hurts. Like when I sneeze, it feels like a grenade went off in my chest.
Right.
Still,
will that go away? I mean, do you heal completely eventually, or?
That's what they tell me. It feels hard to believe right now because it feels like it's been forever and it's still, uncomfortable. But I'm out doing sets. I'm out living a relatively normal life. Like I tried going out for a run last week. It was pathetic, beyond pathetic. I couldn't even. I ran like a half a mile, and then I was just like,
No.
I think I ran 1.5 miles total, but it took like breaks every quarter mile.
Right.
But
that's pretty ambitious. I'd be like, no, can't, heart. Sorry.
Well, I played that game for a long time, but my pants seem to have they seem to be encouraging me to start taking the exercise thing a little more seriously. I was kind of hoping that they would tell me, like that my surgeon would tell me, like, you got to change your life, and from now on it's only boneless, skinless chicken breasts and vegetables, and he was like, no. He's like, your heart is fine. You don't have any blockages. This is a genetic thing. He's like, I mean, you should eat well and lose weight, but you don't have to because of this. It's like, well, that's not going to make me do it.
Right.
I need a gun to my head.